Welcome to the Brother Henry and You Show. I am your host, Henry Harris. Well, we are into part 2 of our series, Religious Trauma. Did you enjoy last week? I know I enjoyed it, and I hope you're learning something. Last week was it was kind of lengthy, but it was more of a foundational message because I wanted you to get an understanding of what religious trauma is. So shall we move along? Now we're into part 2, and I am your host, Henry Harris, and thank you so much for watching. Today we're going to talk about leaving the religious establishment, leaving the institution, the church, whatever you want to call it. When one decides to break away from religious establishment, it can cost them a whole lot. I'm sure many of you have been there. You left a church, you left a religious group, and it costs you. It is a feeling of confusion and certainly emptiness and guilt. Many people go through this experience to reconstruct their lives in a more satisfying way. While the experience of leaving a religious establishment can be confusing and painful at first, there is so much to learn and knowledge to be gained from this. Because first of all, you need to know that if you are experiencing confusion and pain and all these things that's associated with leaving the religious establishment, just know today that you are not alone. Leaving anything, which is separation, is devastating. There will always be the attachments of isolation, anger, and even depression when leaving something that so cherished and valued, and even leaving something that at one time you so cherished and valued at one time. Religious establishment in so many ways is connected to religious disaffiliation, which is an act of leaving a faith or religious group or community. Believe it or not, more and more people are literally packing their bags and leaving organized religion altogether. They're like, I'm done with it. There's no ands, no ifs, no buts, no negotiating about it. I am done with it. They've packed their bags and they've left town. These same people felt unloved, felt abused, felt hurt. They were wounded and no longer find their religious establishment a place of safety. And that's really sad. And I don't care if your religious establishment is a church. I don't care if it's a religious group or a Bible study. It's sad that you cannot be in a place where you feel like I am here to belong and I want to feel love. But you feel detached. You don't feel love. You're hurt as a result of that. So many sit back and become rather critical because someone made the decision to leave an organized religion. But often one of the ones who are the critical the most who decided to jump ship, have you ever considered or even thought as to why they left? I can't believe he left the church. I can't believe she left the church. Have you ever sat back and thought why? Sometimes we don't. If we can discover the why, it can answer a lot of our questions as to why people are leaving the religious establishment by the millions. It's easy to sit back and make assumptions and be self-righteous and condescending and judgmental. But have you taken the time to see why they disaffiliated with the organization? Let's talk about why many people leave. Simply put, I'm just going to be blunt with you, people are tired. They're tired of being looked down upon. They're tired of being judged. They're tired of the cliques that's in many churches today. They're tired of feeling less than. They're tired of being told how dirty and filthy they are. Some people hold to certain theology like this. They're just tired of it. They are not tired of God, but they're tired of the system. Please don't get those mixed up. Just because someone left the religious establishment doesn't mean that they left God. They're leaving in droves. Number one, many people leave because they're overwhelmed with endless demands and rules. Many ministries today and churches, it's all about do's and don'ts. You can't go to the movies, women can't wear pants, women can't preach, you can't do this, men can't wear this, you can't love this person, you can't do this. Endless demands. And what I always found appalling is that many people in religious circles or the religious community, they put this demand on you to live up to certain expectations that they want to say God wanted you to do, when actually it's their expectations of you. And many of the expectations they put on you, they're not even living themselves. Number two, failure to meet expectations. Number three, feelings of not measuring up. Number four, fitting in. Number five, control. Number six, views have evolved a free thinker. Many people leave the religious establishment because it's just not working for them anymore. Especially if you're a part of a group that's not, or church or organization that's not evolving. They're just stuck. You still believe the same thing you believed 30 years ago. You're not growing. And maybe you're like, I'm a free thinker. I want to grow in my relationship with God. I want to grow in spirituality. I want to grow in the things of God. Number seven, many people just stop believing. And number eight, exclusive. There are many reasons, and I am sure you have yours too. People don't just leave. There's always a reason why they did it. And until the church addresses that, we will never be a solution to people who have left the religious establishment. Some have just reached a place in their life or their walk where they find their religious establishment altogether irrelevant. As I said earlier, it just doesn't work for them anymore. I hear you. Some would say, well, how can one maintain a relationship with God without being associated with the religious system? Is that even possible? How can you have the audacity to leave church, but at the same time say, I'm still a Christian, or I still have a relationship with God? It is possible. The answer is, one can still maintain or have a relationship with God without the establishment. And most who I talk to say the relationship with God actually gotten better and safe and secure by doing so. Most religious establishments should have never been established to begin with. Most churches should have never been open. Most ministries should have never been born. Every establishment is not hurting people. I want to make that clear. Every pastor is not hurting people. I'm not anti-church. I'm not anti the religious community. I'm not anti-God. I love all those things, as I said in the previous episode. Not every establishment is creating trauma in people's life, but you have to look at the other side of it too. Some are. But Brother Henry, nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect. Have you heard that famous line before? You're right. Nobody is perfect. People do hurt people, no matter where that's at. People do make mistakes, but the days of using nobody is perfect as an excuse for this type of abusive behavior is over and need to cease. People are finally waking up. They're just not going to tolerate the abuse anymore. And they will no longer accept it anymore as well. Many people who leave the religious establishment, there are consequences or negative effects for leaving that establishment. Let's talk about that. Number one, excommunication. Number two, isolation. Number three, losing friendships and relationships. Sometimes when you leave the religious establishment or a church, they don't want to have nothing to do with you no more. They block you on Facebook. They delete your number. They don't have nothing to do with you. They excommunicate you. You lose friends. Number four, character assassination. You left. They start to attack and dehumanize you and assassinate your character and who you are because you left. Number five, you're treated differently. Like the way they used to treat you when you were a part of the game, now they don't treat you that way anymore. They treat you rather different now because you're not a part of them anymore. Number six, an outsider. You were an insider at one time. Now you are an outsider looking in. Number seven, they will try to destroy everything that you have established. And number eight, will cause others to view you in a negative light. Religion is creating fear in many lives. This is why many are departing. Would you agree that life is hard enough? The demands religions place on people are unreal. And it's not only turning people against themselves, but as a result of the hurt, many people are turning away from God because how they've been treated by the religious establishment. We must do better. We don't have a choice. We have to do better in this area. And if you have found yourself in this situation that's disturbing your peace, do what you have to do. Don't worry about what anybody else think, what they're going to say about me, how they're going to feel. At the end of the day, that's irrelevant. Do what's best for you. Do what's going to bring peace, harmony, and tranquility to your life. Seek healing. Yes, even if that means walking away from the religious establishment. Do you know what spiritual abuse is? Do you know how to identify spiritual abuse? Some of you may be dealing with it right now. But we'll talk about that next week in part 3 of identifying spiritual abuse.
We hope you have enjoyed today's program. We want to connect with you. Visit us at facebook.com/The Brother Henry and You Show, or visit us on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Henry Harris 100. We're so grateful you tuned in today and hope you have a fantastic day.